When your old career gives you lemons, throw in some ice, mix in some vodka, and call it a podcast. From the Mac of All Trades studio in Fairport and driven by Victor Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, it's Billified, the Bill Moran Podcast.
I'm on my way to Greg Connor's house. I'm running very late. And the Bills are about to attempt a 45-yard field goal. But I have these different mics. We're going to try this. I don't know if it's going to work. But I'm going to see if I can mic Greg up during the game because there's no one more animated. We'll get some of his stuff. We'll have a conversation at halftime, and we'll do a quick post-game as I am now driving from the metropolis of Fairport to the quaint outskirts of Pittsburgh. Well, hello, Daniel.
Hello.
I grabbed some audio because I went to Greg's house, and I thought, who do I know that knows the Bills better than Greg, Danny? Like the two guys who have great insight. So I thought it would be funny at times to play sections of Greg, and you have to pick out where in the game that happened, where he's losing his mind. And then I have the last 14 minutes of the game that I'd love for you to hear, and we can pause at any time. You just give me a sign, and I'd love to get your breakdown and your thoughts at these different points. But before we go any further, the Bills moving on in the playoffs onto the divisional round, winning 27-24. How are you feeling about this, Dan?
I'm glad they got out alive. I mean, right now at this point, survive and advance.
Yeah.
You know, you can't complain about how they do it. It's just that they did it. The only time you can complain in the playoffs is when they lose. All right. Now, they got some things to fix, but, I mean, they pulled it off, especially when the defense couldn't get a stop to save their lives in the second half. And then all of a sudden, you know, you had to play with Trey White, you know, John Jacoby Myers tipping the ball. And Trevor Lawrence, all he's got to do, he doesn't have to go that far.
No.
You know, because that field goal kicker, I mean, I don't know anybody else in the NFL where the field goal make it line is at midfield.
Yeah.
Than,
this guy's kicked what, 60s, 70s?
He's got he has the two longest field goals in NFL history at 68 and 67 yards.
Yeah.
And you know, you had the Cole Bishop interception, and that sealed the game. It was like a shock because there was a debate: should the Bills score immediately? Should they take their time?
This is the thing, and I want you to hear everything that was happening there. Every pundit, every guy is up screaming at the television, having these things. Greg walks over to me. He's melting down about clock management, and I go, "This is where," because Danny, when you watch a game with Dan, calm, cool, and collected on the surface. Very little emotion. When something happens that may be good or bad, Dan frantically is writing notes. There's not like you're studying this. The rest of us are reacting to it. Danny's studying it. So it's two different personality types to watch with, but the end result, the passion for the team, I think, is matched, in my opinion, between the two of you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
of course.
I know that. Let me see. I'll play you some of the our halftime conversation and just kind of see what you think of that, because I got there more second quarter and I didn't mic anybody up. They weren't fully charged. I'm trying these new mics just to see if it will work. But let's see. Here's what he said, and you tell me if you agree, disagree.
In first half, that's pretty exciting.
Too exciting. Way too exciting.
Josh looks like they are just beating the crap out of him as best they can.
Yeah, I mean, there's multiple times where it looked like he was hurt in the first half alone.
Yeah.
So that's, they got, as long as he can stay healthy and make it through the second half, it's just you don't want to limit what he can do and what his capabilities are.
The coaching so far, like the challenge.
Great call.
It was a great call.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And
Danny, when that challenge was about to happen, where was your head? Because I think the Bills.
I was yelling, "Challenge the call!"
Yeah,
challenge the call.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. And he seemed to wait. It seemed to be like a long time. It felt like before he challenged the call.
Because he wanted to make sure he got it right. I mean, because he's only had one challenge right the entire season.
Right.
So he needs to hear, okay, do I really want, I mean, do we really need, should we really challenge this right here? So, and he had to, and it worked out. So,
in your opinion, is that a game-changing moment?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Because then, like, the Bills went back down the field and scored. You know, you had the challenge at that point. I mean, you didn't have a choice. It goes, they're on the verge. If we're talking about the Lawrence play on the fourth down, then
right.
Absolutely. Because if he doesn't challenge there, if he just lets it go, and I'm sitting there and I don't see that he's got the flag in his hand. I'm like, what's he doing? What's he thinking? What's he waiting for? But he's waiting for somebody upstairs to tell him to challenge the call. But I mean, if they don't, odds are, you know, Jacksonville goes into the end zone. Now it's 14-3. And all of a sudden we've seen this show before where, okay, now we got to come back and win, or they're just not going to come back and win. And instead the Bills go back down the field and score. And it's a 14-point, anywhere from a 10 to a 14-point swing on that. Cause you're talking about, you know, Jacksonville got the ball after the fumble from Ray Davis.
Right.
And then that changed everything. So, I mean, that could have been just devastating. And instead, the Bills went the other direction and scored. And it showed, hey, we got a game here.
Yeah, I mean, I got to tell you, like, that was to me a game-changing moment because I'm with you. I thought if they score, it's almost like the wind comes out of the sails. You know what I'm saying? And yet, it seemed like the offense at times, other than the run game, but more in the passing game, seemed to have a fairly okay time moving down the field.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know if you agree. I love your thoughts.
Struggle at times, and then when they had that one catch by Cook, they took it back, which I thought was ridiculous. And like a lot of people did, like national media were like, "Wait, what's this?"
Yeah,
you know, I mean, and then so that kind of hurts when you're taking plays like that away. I mean, the Bills receivers, like, you know, were getting hurt left and right. Gabe Davis is done for the season, right? Shavers left the game on special teams. I mean, they really didn't have a ton to work with. You know, Dalton Kincaid really didn't show up until the second half, and he only had 2 catches, but they were big. You know, Knox had his, you know, 1 catch of the game, but I mean, you know, the Bills went into this game knowing Jacksonville was going to shut down James Cook or try to shut down James Cook. And for the most part, they kind of did. But it was Allen's grit that really got them through this game, and particularly on that last drive, those last 2 drives, but that last drive in particular, because, you know, they didn't need to run a 2-minute offense. They had 4 minutes. Okay, go run a 4-minute offense. And that's what they pretty much did.
Talk to me about that, the grit of Josh Allen. Josh gets some big ass lineman lands his ass. Right
Hines Allen lands on his head. He twists his knee. He hits his index finger on somebody's helmet. I mean, you know, he went into the blue tent twice. Everyone's like holding their breath during the commercial.
He went twice?
Twitter. Yeah, he went to the tent twice.
I only saw the concussion one.
No, he went into the tent twice. So he's okay. I mean, he's tough. That was just precautionary after the game. But I mean, he had that one play where he almost scored with over a minute to go, and Cyrus Torrance is carrying him into the end zone practically. Right. Which, by the way, I don't know if you're allowed to do. Apparently, you are.
Yeah.
I mean, I think he heard a lot of the chatter this week, and all of a sudden, you know, it's been the case since 1992. But all of a sudden, the Bills have never won a road playoff game. Well, okay, like, all right, if you say so. And they heard all this chatter, and, you know, Josh Allen has to win, even though Lamar Jackson's got every excuse why he doesn't win. It's always somebody else's fault. And Josh Allen.
No, that's the way I live, Danny. I'll blame everybody else. It wasn't me. What are you talking about?
Yeah, it wasn't me.
Yeah, it wasn't me. Let's see. I'm just going to hit these because they're not labeled, and we'll see at what point in the game you think Greg is at, because you're so good and you have such copious notes on the game. I know it.
Oh, we got hit. Hold on to it.
Josh, cut half.
They got to protect him.
Yeah, Josh is going to sleep well tonight.
He's going to have to jump in the hot tub with Haley and soak up some of that inflammation.
He's going to be in the ice bath.
What's he on his below his knee? He's doing on his knee. What is up with that bullshit? Come on.
I think there was
Was that the first touchdown where he thought he twisted his knee or he head towards the end zone?
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it looked pretty. It didn't look gruesome, but I mean, it was like that's your quarterback over there, like getting like shellacked like that. I mean, he had just gotten hit the play like 2 plays earlier. Joe Brady, let's just run our quarterback in there because we all or nothing. All or nothing. I mean, it reminded me of that time in Tennessee where Tyrod Taylor almost dislocated his knee.
Oh, I do remember that.
And then in his infinite wisdom, Greg Roman, all right, let's run that triple reverse, and we're going to throw it to Tyrod Taylor in the flat. And it was, are you kidding me? Like, do you have any sense of what you're doing? But, I mean, Allen's tough, but holy cow. I mean, this guy he earned every dime of his paycheck this freaking week.
Oh, yeah. I agree. I mean, this was it. And this was where, you're at, all right, are you going to put on the cape and go? And that's certainly what he did. I actually thought the Bills, the defense obviously stepped up in the end, but overall I was felt good about it.
Well, yeah, they won.
No, but I mean, even leading up to, I felt very confident.
The game?
Yeah, I during that last drive, I felt very confident they were going to get in the end zone. It was just how much time was going to be left.
It came down to this, and I tweeted this out. I said, look, if you can't drive down the field and score a touchdown and win this game with 4 minutes to go, then you don't even belong in the playoffs. There's no point in talking about it. So go do it. And I wasn't nervous at all. I was excited.
Yeah.
And when they're getting closer to the end zone, I'm like, okay, do we stall out? Because after the 10-second, when they had to stop the clock, they had to take a 10-second runoff, and Jacksonville called timeout. But they were out of timeouts. But it was smart for Jacksonville to do that because you don't want the 10-second runoff because you need Trevor Lawrence. Because at this point, you have to expect Buffalo to score, and they have to score 7. They can't score 3. They got to score 7 because Jacksonville's up 4. So, but at that point, I'm like, okay, do we try to let the clock run down before we get in the end zone? And McDermott's like, no, screw it. Just get in the end zone and score. And I think after the game, even Josh Allen was kind of like, we made the right play. We won the game. In other words,
yeah.
I may have
disagreed,
stalled, if that were me, but
right.
Because I mean, let's be honest. Let's just take a look. Let's just take a glimpse. Let's just be amateur psychologists for just a second. This dude has had to carry this team, including his defense, and in that second half, he had up until like the Trey White, Cole Bishop interception, he had to carry that team to victory because Jacksonville was scoring. Jacksonville scored 17 points in the second half. They only had the ball 4 times, and they scored every time they touched it. So he's thinking in his head, I cannot let the defense get back on the field. But doggone it, they scored. And Wishnowsky, which I didn't even realize he was kicking off until the second half. I'm like, wait, is that the punter?
Yeah.
And he had a hell of a kick. It was a perfect kick.
He did. He didn't have a great punt at some point in the game, though.
What's that?
There was a punt he made that wasn't great.
Yeah, it was Shank that led to Jacksonville's first touchdown. That was in the first half. He shanked the punt. Or was that? No, I'm sorry. That was in the second half. He shanked the punt. But then there was another punt that he had like at the Jacksonville 3, and then Lawrence took off for like a 20-yard run.
Yeah, right. They were in the end zone. I thought for sure he was getting – yeah.
Yeah, your punter has an amazing punt in the defense. Now, you know what? Here, let the quarterback take off and run with it. Oh, thanks, guys. Appreciate the help. But, he had a heck of a game today, that kid. I mean, a lot of them did. There are a few guys here I'm like, like Peter Montemero's texting me during the game. Peter Montemero texted me at halftime. He goes, I don't think Jacksonville's going to score another point the rest of this game.
If they did 17. What? Yeah.
I go, oh, based on what?
How about Coleman? I mean, Coleman seemed to show up a couple times when needed.
Hey, look, if he drops that ball, he's walking back to Buffalo.
Yeah.
At this point. That was a huge catch.
It was huge. Huge.
And I was hoping when after Gabe Davis went down, Coleman's coming in the game because they got nobody left, right? And hey, let this kid have his moment. Let him have his moment. But you know what? It ended up being Brandon Cooks, and good for him too. It was a total team effort with a bunch of like misfits going out there and getting the job done, with the exception of Josh Allen, of course. And so they got it done. And so now it's like either Denver on Saturday or Pittsburgh on Sunday.
Right. This is This is the nerve-wracking part of life. Here's I don't know where this is. Later.
Tends to do it all by himself as opposed to using his teammates. No, he doesn't. He's got to use his teammates in this instance.
This is before Jacksonville kicks off.
I'm being positive, saying he needs to use
touchdown. I gave him
scores a touchdown in the fourth quarter.
24
Every time.
points for the extra point.
Yeah, right.
20. Here's Greg's thoughts.
Let's go. Come on.
Bo's still tired from that 13-yard sprint.
Do you kind of agree with Greg? Now, this is before Jacksonville had just scored, so they're up, right? And now they're kicking off to the Bills, and he's saying he's got to use his guys.
He's talking about Josh?
Yeah, and not put it all on his back and not try to be the hero here. He's got to use everybody, use his teammates.
Yeah, I'm assuming that's the last drive.
It is.
I mean,
it was going into the last drive.
Yeah. I mean, you had the big third down that Allen converted on his own.
Yep.
Then you had the big 37-yard catch by Cooks. Okay. Then you had, then Allen ended up like almost scoring. He got, he did. He utilized his guys, but the Cooks play really took a lot of pressure off everybody else.
Yeah.
Because it was 38 yards. I mean, he had a defender in his face on that throw.
I know.
And the safety blew the coverage. And he knew Cooks was going to be wide open right there. He threw it perfectly to him. So, yeah, he was right. I mean, like, he can't do it all by himself. But even then, he still tried to do it himself. I mean, that was like they joked that had to be a world record for the longest tush push in history.
Oh, God. Yards. That was crazy.
Torrance is literally carrying him. And Louis Riddick tweets out, he goes, I don't think you could do that.
Let me just play this because I just left them running. This is the last 14 minutes of the game. And you'll hear lots of different noise, but we can pause at different points. You can even signal me to make your own commentary on things that you're either hearing or were feeling at that moment yourself. Here we go. Here, this is the last.
The key here is just get first downs, right? Don't go for it all on one play. Just go 3, 5, 6. Just move.
I just want to say this.
Yes, I agree with Greg.
Greg has a lavalier mic on. He's on the other side of the room. He's talking to the couch. He's talking to the chair. He's talking to his pool table. They're like it to anybody in his vicinity. He's just speaking. Like it's not to anyone in particular. And
his son Luke is playing Call of Duty on the other TV.
No, he wasn't. But
his son Will's watching Penn State basketball
I don't know.
on the other TV.
Will was invested in this one, but yes, here we go.
Circulate the ball down the field. No interceptions, no turnovers. Take time off the clock. Work it. Work it.
He's hanging out with him.
Use Cook on a run or two.
There we go.
Come on, J.A. Here we go. Cookie. Perfect for Cookie.
Kincaid, down the middle. Down the seam.
Nope. Shit. It's 3rd and 1. Well, you got 2 downs. You're going to take 2 downs.
So this is where, like, you can just feel the tension with everybody. I mean, this was a lot. I think you'll hear, like, later on, because Greg has some kind of, it wasn't an Apple Watch. It's called a Woot. Have you heard of the Woot?
A whoop strap.
Or Whoops. Is it Whoop?
A Woot strap or something like that.
I don't know what it is, but yes. Yeah. And
Tony Robbins pushes those, yeah.
He uses those?
Yeah, it's like a Fitbit.
Yeah. So he was using that, and wait till you hear how many calories he burned during this game.
Virtual measurement.
All right, so this is where they were measuring and trying to figure out. Hang on a second. Oh, it's Rolling Stone magazine. Bob Weir passed away. I just saw Rolling Stone, and I thought, oh my God, Keith or Mick. Keith or Mick. And they go, it's with extreme sadness we say goodbye to Bob Weir. But we had a friend who interviewed Bob Weir in his mind.
I didn't realize Bob Weir was only 2 days older than Sammy Hagar.
Yeah, he had cancer. Beat that. I followed Bob on Instagram, and you would just see him doing exercises, a lot of like yoga stuff, but with straps and weights and things. And he was in pretty good shape. And then I heard that it was a breathing problem that he had.
That's what it was.
Yes.
Okay, so there's a whole debate as to whether or not this is a first down and how they're going to determine whether or not it was a first down and whether they got it. It was the technology in the ball that did show that the Bills were there.
Here's what got me, though.
Okay.
Allen got to the 45 on that play, and they spotted the ball at the 44.
Why?
And I'm like,
well, was it because they're saying his leg was down? Or no, he slid. So is it as soon as you give yourself up?
That play. Oh, that play. We're talking about
slide.
that play. Okay.
Yeah, the slide.
Yeah, he was a half a yard short. He was short. I think he got sick.
Go ahead.
I think he got sick of getting hit. So he just slid. I mean, there were three defenders right there.
Well, it looked like he had made it.
Yeah, but on the replay, he was short on that one. There was another one where it was at the 45. He reached the 45, and they spotted the ball at the 44, and he barely got the first down. I'm like, he's at the 45.
Yeah. He was at the 45. It seemed like there was some poor officiating.
Albert Breer from SI tweeted this out, and I agree with him. He goes, "There's got to be transparency when the call goes to New York, like the UFL." Dean Blandino, you watch him doing the replay live, so there is no hanky panky. That is, they show it live so that you know there's not. Now, but it's the UFL though, so who cares, right? And the NFL, it's like, all right, we got to make a game out of this. So let's just tell the refs, they're pantomiming down in a circle, and all of a sudden, all right, what's the call from New York? Okay, all right, what's going to be short? It's short. Yeah, virtual measurement says it's short. And the funny thing is that they don't show you where the ball was spotted before the virtual measurement. It's like a surprise, like, oh, okay. They don't show you the ball spotted before the virtual measurement.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when a guy from SI, MMQB, is tweeting that out, that's a big deal. Because they don't want to, tick off the NFL. They don't care.
He's down to one.
All right, this is it.
He's down.
So here's what we want to – I'm going to back it up just a little bit because this is the longest tush push that I have ever seen.
Yeah, it's the Allen carry.
Yeah.
He's short. He's short.
No, they just called a timeout.
Yeah, he's here, and first down is there. But the thing is that clock's got to wind with his 40 seconds on. Who did?
Jacksonville.
Oh.
No. That looks like a...
No, they called for
No, they called timeout. New year.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, come on, man.
Come on, boys.
Here we go, Danny. This is the moment.
No, why is okay? There's Gillian. Oh, he's getting down.
Right side.
Yeah!
Did they get it? Is that a touchdown? That's a fucking touchdown.
Who are you?
No.
Huh?
Touchdown.
Were you watching figure skating on one of the other channels? You came in 30 seconds after he scored. Was that a touchdown?
No, because there was such this drag, and we couldn't tell if he was down or not. I think there's someone standing blocking my purview. Now, this is the debate where everyone wanted to know, what do we do? Do you want to be in? It was giving them potentially a minute 20?
Minute 16.
A minute 16. And
because if you watch the replay, I saw the referee go timeout, and the clock kept going. CBS didn't stop the clock. So it went down to a minute 7. And because Tony Romo, who just wouldn't shut up during this game, he was awful. He had a couple good points, but for the most part, he just doesn't let him. He's got to have the last word before a commercial break. He has to keep talking everything. I don't know, Jim. I don't know. And it's like the clock's going, and it's like I'm like, wait a minute, didn't they stop the clock 8 seconds ago? Which they did. They reset the clock. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, do we, like Josh, like everybody, do we just kind of stall to get into the end zone here? But the problem is that the more plays you run, the more chances you get to cough up the football.
Right.
So, or get hurt.
Yeah, no, 100%. And that's the big worry as you move forward. I mean, it looked like Josh, at least in that first half and probably throughout the game, I mean, he was just getting his ass kicked.
Oh, gosh.
It was just so ugly.
We all yelling at each other.
I don't know.
Hey.
Yeah, like that. Here we go.
Run that clock. So that's just knee it. No, we don't want to knee it because we don't want to go back.
Well, no, they got to. Jacksonville's got to take a timeout. Otherwise, they run the clock.
It should be running.
No. It's under review.
They overturned it. First and goal.
Yeah, so as soon as it's no. So what they'll do is they'll start it. Okay, and then the play clock and the game clock.
Why are we all yelling at each other?
I don't know. I love you all. So they got to snap the ball.
But do you see, like, everybody gets loud and passionate, and it's like it's chaos.
I love that Greg had the presence of mind when Will said, "Take a knee." No, don't take a knee. You're going backwards. Somebody in the radio actually said that they discussed that. Whether they should take a knee. I'm like, no, you can't take a knee.
Yeah.
You just keep plowing forward. If you get in, you get in. All right? You let your defense play the game. I know that Cam Little can hit.
Well, they were trying to see if they could at least have Josh let the play clock run down because you have 25 seconds, right? And that could he eat that time off the clock and leave
what happened was, though, Jacksonville called timeout to avoid the 10-second runoff. So at that point, it didn't matter about the play clock. It was just about like, okay, well, how do we stall before, Jacksonville gets the ball back?
I want to get to this one part where Greg talks about something because I think you'll agree.
That's good. That's good game management by the Jags coach.
Take it down. Bring it down.
I would take it.
A very forward team.
Actually, on this, I would take it down. Where's the play clock? Why isn't the game clock going?
They have one timeout.
I would kneel it then.
Call timeout.
No!
He's in.
No! This is why I don't like McDermott. You sit down. You gotta kneel. Just freaking kneel it. No! You gotta kneel it all the way down. If he kneels it, and then it runs.
Bring it hard. We're gonna win the game. Let's go.
Why do we gotta make it so stressful? Why so stressful?
It's Billy Dolan.
Leave on Harbaugh.
They all get a field goal.
They're going Harbaugh.
You got a minute left.
Why was it a minute 4?
3 tries from the 1 yard.
It was a minute 2.
Hold on. Wait. They had no timeout. If he took a knee once,
Prater needs
it would go down. You'd have until 20 seconds left in the game.
God, did that scare the shit out of you too? I thought it was. Man, he hooks that back.
Same thing. If he had just taken a knee, he would have had 40 seconds. It would have gotten down to 20. If he takes the timeout with 20 seconds and then scores, all he's got is then they got less than 20 seconds. Oh my God.
You're gonna shake me.
So you give him a minute, you give him 20 seconds. Jesus.
All right, what do you think? Do you agree with
Alan
that?
said after the game, well, we won. So,
Yes.
in other words, I'm kind of thinking the same thing. I don't agree with taking the knee. I thought Greg, like 2 minutes ago, said, like, no, you can't take a knee. You're going backwards. Now he's saying to take a knee and everything. But that means you have to, get in the end zone. I know you have all your timeouts and the Bills. But, I mean, like, you got at some point. It's not like this little dude is going to hit 67-yarders at will, okay? I mean, like, you saw him miss a kick earlier in the game, too, which was much closer than that. The other thing, and here's the thing that I'm holding my breath about at this point, is Prater going to make the extra point?
Yes.
Because
Danny,
now, if
that's
Little
where you
gets-
heard
if-
me
if-
go,
if-
did that scare the shit out of you too? Because it looked like it hooked right in, but he comes so wide, it looked like it was going out.
Yeah, because if Prater makes I held my breath because it wobbled a little bit. Because if Prater misses that extra point, now we have like a situation like you had in Pittsburgh last week with Baltimore. But, you don't want that because I don't know if Jordan Hancock, when Poyer went down, Jordan Hancock got beat several plays. And that's where Lawrence looked like he wanted to go. I mean, he had to work the sidelines and everything else. And that one pass he had to Myers ended up being a huge mistake and tipped over. But, I mean, Prater's got to make that extra point because there's unless something freaky happens, Jacksonville's not going the length of the field and scoring a touchdown. If they do, God bless them, they beat you. But, I understand where Greg's coming from because I felt the same way. But once the ball's in the end zone, you got to just get out of that mentality. Yeah, I get it. But, okay, you scored. You have the lead. Now your defense has to go and win the game.
Right. And I think we had a little faith in that. But here we go.
Yeah.
Here. Let me just see what this is.
We're winning! We're winning! Let's go, Charlie!
Get on the same spot. That's where you should go.
We're good, baby. That's the fucking shit. Wait, are you on the mic? That game management? I don't know if I'm in that. The thing I don't like about the one thing about McDermott that I've always questioned is his game management. That is a perfect reflection of his horrible games management.
Remember when I gave you good advice? You listen. Stop talking about it. We're good. We're good. We're good. No.
Okay, horrible game management. This has been something, Dan, that I think that you have maybe alluded to at times. Peter has. I've heard people outright say it, like it's bad game management at different times. Look, it's easier to. It's like the old thing. It's easier to find a job when you have a job than it is when you don't have a job, right? Because there's all that pressure on you. And I think it's easier maybe to look at these things in a different lens when you win the game and it worked out for you. But there was a lot of time. And you're talking about a team that lost a game within 13 seconds.
Right. That's why we don't have the faith for them to,
right,
put the defense back on the field, because it was Sean McDermott who really lost that game.
Right.
The defensive guru. First there was the miscommunication with the kickoff, which, by the way, I didn't have a problem with them kicking it into the end zone at that point against Kansas City, because I'd watched them, screw up a kick in the Music City Miracle. So what is it? We just revert back to the last tragedy in Buffalo Bills history,
yes,
and that's our basis for our thinking.
Yes.
I mean, he's right. McDermott is not a great game manager. Not a lot of coaches are. There's only a handful of them who really are. Like Tom Coughlin was a good game manager toward the end of the game in certain situations. But I mean, and they asked Sean McDermott about it after the game, and he kind of contradicted himself a little bit. But at the end of the day, I'm right there with you. But if you can't get in the end zone, then we're having a different discussion about his clock management. Now we're talking about, okay, who needs to go at this point?
Well,
so there's so many different decisions in every decision.
I don't believe, and I don't know where you stand on this, that Sean McDermott would be let go by the Buffalo Bills had they not won this game. However,
no, I don't think so either.
However, I wouldn't be surprised if Brandon Beane was.
I wouldn't be surprised if Brandon Beane is gone if they lose next week, or even if they win next week and lose the following week.
Why do you say that?
Because look at the roster.
Well, this is the thing: it's like
depleted.
You're watching
right now.
You're watching Washington on the Jaguars. I don't know his first name. Receiver.
Yes, Christopher Parker Washington.
He just was eating up the field, and I think he was a 5th round pick.
Yeah.
And
did you watch Colston Loveland last night for the Chicago Bears?
No, I had the game on. I was doing other things.
Did you watch Colby Parkinson last night for the Rams? He made this ballerina type catch to win the game.
Yes, I did see that.
The tight end.
Yeah.
The kid I just mentioned from Chicago, Loveland, is a tight end. These guys looked all world, and my tight ends combined for 3 catches today. Granted, they were all big catches. But it's like, who's taking over the game? Well, there's a reason, because there's more weapons with the Rams. So that gives more opportunities to the tight end. There's more weapons with the Bears. That gives more opportunities for the tight end. Okay, pick our poison. Who's going to beat us? Well, if their 4th best receiver beats us, okay, fine. We covered everybody else. But with the Bills, it's like, who is your best target? Well, if it's your tight end, that's where you're starting. It's Dalton Kincaid. And when he's on the field.
Right.
I mean, he's not always on the field. Like, one of the Bills' co-owners is Tracy McGrady. The knock on Tracy McGrady was, if he would ever play a complete season, he might be one of the 10 greatest NBA players ever, but he could never get on the court.
Yeah.
Oh, I got to take a month off. I'm hurt. I mean, and like, you have 2 guys who are going to come under fire this year. Well, McDermott's going to come under fire, but he's not going anywhere. Your strength and conditioning coach is going to come under fire, and Brandon Beane, because, oh my goodness, like the roster, they have no receivers left.
No, and even defensively, you're starting to see, like, I thought, a little bit of age in Joey Bosa, Poyer getting hurt and knocked out of the game.
Poyer shouldn't be on the roster.
That's what I understand.
Be on the roster,
but there were guys who were getting blown off the field. And I don't think Poyer would have in that situation.
No.
Then I saw Joey Bosa just trying to get to the edge, and it's like, man, 5 years ago, I think you would have got that.
He makes that play, but he wasn't making that. Right.
And that's the thing. I just want to see if I can get to the end here.
Larry Ogunjobi was one of their 2 free agent signings on the defensive line. He was inactive today. Healthy scratch.
Yeah.
free agent signing, who, by the way, was suspended the day he was signed for 6 days for steroids. For 6 games for steroids.
That's great.
It's like he better kick it in the zone. All right, there you go. Make a tackle. There you go. Fumble.
What's the insurance commercial now where they're like the player turns and goes, "Yeah, I hear you," like to the.
Yeah, it's Geico. It's the Florida Gators. I think it was DJ Shockley. He doesn't play there anymore. But yeah. I'm trying. Yeah, that's how you run inside zone. Yeah, anything for you, bud.
I can't believe you
You
did
just pass the ball. Yeah, I'm trying.
Oh my God.
All right, here we go. We got to get one of the.
Come on.
All right, here we go.
Their kicker can hit from
Come on, D.
There it comes.
Holy shit! Holy shit! Oh my God!
All right, there you go. A little chaos. It was certainly a lively group to watch with. Take any guesses, because you have been there and you have seen Greg in his pacing and yelling. And there was a time where he did somersaults. I don't know if you remember that. Pretty sure you were there. We were sitting over at the island, and he was down on the front, and he started doing somersaults. He actually left and went outside because if they lost, he thought he was going to get emotional, and he didn't want to be around people. So once the interception happened, he came back in and started yelling. But, like, he thought for sure something bad was going to happen. But what do you think how many calories do you think he burned during the game?
I'd say about 1,100.
Oh, wow. That's a lot. That's a lot. Let me see.
Wait, we have to go over this. You burned how many calories? According Will,
How many calories?
what are you checking here? What device is this?
You got to charge it.
The loop?
The Whoop.
I don't know the Whoop.
WHOOP.
Is it
the Whoop.
Hoop strap.
Okay.
There's got to get Oura Ring now too.
I know. I would. That's my only thing. I wear no rings.
So my maximum heart rate was 154, and I burned 311 calories and during the game.
I really think at one point I looked down during spin and I was at 284. And I don't know.
I think he burned more calories than I did in the spin class earlier this week.
Well, you're talking about a 3-hour game, though. 100 calories an hour is about normal. So that's really not a ton.
I don't know. I
thought
was
you
sitting.
meant
I didn't burn that. I was sitting. He's pacing. He's running. He's sweating. His heart rate's up to 154. I don't know. I mean, I can't tell because I don't have the diagnostics.
In an hour-long workout, that's ideal.
Yes.
Because I think that Houston is a stronger team than the Steelers.
Yeah.
They play tomorrow. They play Monday night in Pittsburgh. So we got to have Pittsburgh beat the Texans.
Yeah.
We would then play at Pittsburgh next week.
Okay.
Which we were there and we won.
Right.
And if we beat the Steelers, and then the Chargers play the Patriots, win tonight, beat the Patriots. The Chargers would then play at Denver.
Okay.
The Chargers and Denver in the AFC West. The Chargers have already beaten Denver this year. So if then the Chargers beat the Broncos, we would then host the Chargers in Orchard Park for the AFC Championship game.
Okay. And that's what we want.
That's what we want.
The AFC Championship
Hell
game
yeah.
in Orchard Park.
In Orchard Park.
And
then that would be the real
final game at Highmark.
Yeah.
I like it. I like the way you think.
Yeah.
Blizzard Brew time.
Yeah, you gotta be more. You gotta get the snowboard so we get more Bud Light Blizzard Brew.
I'm going to go buy some more.
Did you know they made a Bud Light Blizzard Brew with snow from Highmark Stadium? Yeah. So he had it there, and I had it. And I go, oh, just a hint of urine. Well, Danny had a little technical difficulty, so we lost him there. But I will say, I think Greg laid it out great for the final game to be at Highmark Stadium, the AFC Championship game. It would have to be the Steelers beating the Texans, the Chargers beating New England, the Chargers beating Denver, us beating the Steelers, and we'd be back at Highmark Stadium. I think that's the way we would all like to see it, see the stadium close out, maybe see I just would be insane. Could you imagine if they win the AFC Championship in Buffalo and then go to the Super Bowl? I mean, come on. It would be insane. For Dan Barillo, for Greg Connors and his fun crew that I was with over there, Billy Dolan, Charlie Fox, I'm Bill Moran. I'll see you tomorrow.